Hey everyone, I'm Rin from Rindar Gaming, and today we're going to go over 5 things to help you tank the new Season 8.1 Affix, Reaping. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that sub button for more tank tip videos. So our first tip is, when does Reaping spawn? Reaping will spawn at the 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, and 100% marks. When Reaping occurs, the trash killed in the last 20% will spawn. So for the first Reaping, everything killed will respawn. At the 40% Reaping, all the trash killed between 20% and 40% will spawn, and so on. Make sure to keep track of your cooldowns, the healer's mana, and also the cooldowns of your DPS. You don't want to go into a Reaping with the healer out of mana or you out of defensives. Additionally, a Demon Hunter with I-Beam or another DPS with major AoE cooldowns can clean up Reaping very quickly. So try to communicate with your team so they can plan for the Reaping. If you wipe during a Reaping, the adds will run back to their original spawn locations, and if you do not clear them up, they will be pulled at the next Reaping. For tip number 2, let's talk adds. Adds will spawn in a ghost form and can be categorized as one of 3 different add types, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. The ghosts that spawn will have half the health of the original add that you killed. So the 3 add types are a melee add. This type of add is very simple. They will run to whatever player has aggro and melee hit them. They can cause some serious physical damage when you get a lot of them grouped up, but the damage should be easily mitigated. They can be deadly if they're left up for too long, as they apply a stacking debuff that reduces your HP or the target that they hit by their HP by 3%. This can very quickly stack up and get out of hand if they're not dealt with quickly. The second add type is a caster add. These adds will sit and spam cast Grave Bolt at a random target. This can hit for a pretty significant amount on a higher key and should be interrupted or stunned as much as possible. Make an effort to group these adds up with melee adds and interrupt them as much as possible. AoE stuns can be very strong here, as it'll minimize the add damage, and make sure to use them when available. The last add type is called the Lost Soul. This add will drop puddles all over the ground and can be very deadly. Make sure to move out of these puddles whenever possible to avoid this damage. It can kill non-tank players. So tip number 3 is going to be picking up the adds. So when a Reaping does spawn, it can be a lot of adds coming from several different locations. You're going to want to hold some strong AoE abilities to establish threat when the adds spawn. You can also line of sight the adds around a corner or on a bridge to help get them grouped up and create your death ball. In most cases, the adds don't hit incredibly hard, but keep taunt on cooldown to keep them off non-tank players. Pop an offensive CD and AoE spam as much as possible to get these adds grouped up. Keep in mind that your DPS will be hammering them and generating crazy threat themselves, because you're going to want to pop those major offensive cooldowns. One last thing to mention here, the adds will not pull skipped adds when they run through them. So you don't have to worry about half the dungeon pulling on a Reaping if you made a skip on one of the previous plays. So tip number 4 is going to be keep pulling. So this is going to depend very much on you as a tank and the ability of your team. It is easy to get caught up in the Reaping adds, but remember that the clock is ticking. If you can continue to pull adds, be it small adds that don't do much, or the Reaping is almost clear, take a quick look at the healer's mana and keep going. If there are 4 or 5 melee adds left, pull. This can save precious seconds and help time those large keys. You want to maximize your pull pass as much as possible here. Use those death balls, use those line of sights, and continue to move through the dungeon even if you have a little bit of the Reaping left. Tip number 5 is going to be skip the 100% Reaping. So if you play the dungeon outright, you want to pull the last boss with 90 to 95% of the trash complete. The idea here is to kill the last boss and then finish out the trash percentage. At the 100% mark, the dungeon will end and you will not have to handle the last Reaping. This can shave a minute or so off run times. It can be very difficult to plan in some dungeons, as they can be very linear, such as Toll to Gore, but should be an active goal when you're planning out your pull pass. But thanks everyone for listening, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comment section below, ask me on Twitter or on my live stream. Links will be in the description below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that sub button, guys. It does help out a lot. But until next time, later y'all.